Welcome to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
Go.
All right. Welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. This is episode 7 of season 2, and we're kind of in a little bit of a dead zone. But today, guess what? We're not, because we have head coach Tom, and I'm going to pronounce this. This is all off of Google AI. Tom Sallay. Is that correct?
Sallay, like the girl, kind of. So.
All right.
Oh.
I know what. This is why you never trust AI, folks. AI said Sallay, and I'm like, this doesn't look right, but I went with it.
It was way easier than you were making it.
Unbelievable. Well, AI, this is 1 not point for you, 1 point for the humans. So Tom, thank you for joining us. I know it's short notice, but definitely appreciate you jumping on the show.
No, yeah, for sure. Excited to be here. Excited to talk a little bit with you guys and brag about our guys a little bit and, get people to kind of understand a little bit about us and where we're at and all that good stuff.
So, Tom,
Awesome.
You're the head coach of Culver, Stockton?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been next year will be my 10th season, which would actually make me the longest tenure coach in Culver Stockton history. And so it's a great place. I went to school here, met my wife here. And so, it's a place that means a ton to me. I don't have the Division I dream. I'm not chasing that. Luckily, I married a really, really smart woman who's got a really good job. So I don't have to chase money too much. And
Nice.
I love being here. I love being able to work with kids at our level that they love to play football and they're not worried about all the outside noise that's going around in college football nowadays, and just enjoy being with their buddies and playing football and getting a degree.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Tom, thank you again. So, folks, we have a lot to get into. We have to get into Andrew Rupcich. We have to get into Kyle Dixon. And, what we really want to do in this show is really get Tom's, firsthand account of what it was like to coach these guys. How does he think he's going to, fit into the team? We'll get into all that and more. Before we get into that, we have to talk about our sponsors just real quick. So Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. Tom, if you're in the Providence area, in the New England area, you have to come. If you go, drinks on us, everything, food on us. I know the owner, he treats us pretty well. We just had our draft party there, but amazing food, guys. If you're in the Providence area, get there. Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. There's like 40 or 50 beers on tap. Amazing, just kind of, hyper local new American cuisine is what they call it. It's got a little bit of a Southern flair to it. So he does huevos rancheros is a really great brunch, amazing food, but check it out if you're in the area. And then Horizon HVAC. So guys in New England, Tom, I don't know if you've been up here at all, but we get any season, all 4 seasons at any point. It could be winter, it could be summer, it could be fall, it could be, you never know what you're going to get over here. Okay. So sometimes you're getting your AC system up, sometimes you're getting your heat system up. You don't know. But either way, you gotta make sure it's working. And Horizon HVAC, these are the guys that are going to help you out. They were just at my house a few weeks ago. I had a gas leak, so they had to change out one of the. I can't even speak the lingo, but they were in and out quick for a very, very affordable price. So give these guys a call. Mike Cesarone is the owner. I went to high school with him. Great guy. All right, so Tom, we got some interesting receivers on our team. Tell me what do you think differentiates Kyle from a lot of these receivers? What does he bring to the table that's unique?
Well, obviously, I don't know these guys personally or anything like that, but what Kyle, first of all, the biggest thing about Kyle is he's an unbelievable human. He's a kid that if he was dating your daughter, you'd be pumped up. He's going to do things the right way. He was a 3.8 student. Practice every day, worked hard, loves the weight room. If you ever get to see him in person, our only rule when he's around is he's not allowed to take his shirt off in front of my wife, else I'm going to have to fight him. So, he's just a relentless worker, who really loves that part of it. So he takes it really serious, and he's going to play hard. Not a diva at all, doesn't think he didn't ever walk up one time in the time he played for us and go, "Hey coach, I need the ball." He's just going to show up and work. And when the ball comes his way, he's going to make a play. And if it doesn't, he wants somebody else to make a play. He's a great teammate.
Wow, that's amazing. I've seen this, And it's funny because we've been doing our research on him, and there's not a heck of a lot of film out there. But some of the stuff that I did notice is the way he can move his body at such an enormous level. I mean, the kid is huge, and he's running everybody on the field. Like, that's a very rare skill set. You see that one play where he catches it over the middle and just jets past 10 different defenders to get right to the goal there. And have
Hold on, we'll show it quick, Mike. Let's start.
He's just on another level. He's on another playing field from the other guys. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you, I know you love the fact that he was in your program, but how come he didn't go to a different, perhaps a bigger program? What was his deal?
Well, he started out as a baseball player. So he went to college, he played baseball for 4 years. And as you go along, you start using a certain amount of semesters, and you only get so many years of eligibility. And he was at the point where, he kind of didn't have the option to go and play Division I because he was so far along in his degree and stuff like that. So one of his good friends growing up was one of our coaches. And, he showed us his film one day, and he's like, hey, my buddy, he played baseball for the last 4 years, but he's thinking about trying to play football. Would you let him play for us? And he showed me his film. And I watched about 3 clips, and I handed it back to him. I said, dude, I'll give that kid my car to come here and play football. So, but that's kind of how we got him. And just like with Rup, that I'm sure we'll talk about later, Culver is a different spot. Everybody that goes here lives on campus. They live with each other. They got to be buddies with each other. And these guys build, kind of foundational things in their life where they like being around their buddies. They're at a place where their coaches and their teammates and everybody cares about them. And they're not in a rush to go do the next thing, and now with 2 guys, especially, we can kind of sell, hey, listen, you don't have to run away from us to have a chance. Here's something that we can do and we can provide for you, and stick around and do that, And so he's uberly loyal, and so we got lucky. And it kind of takes that a little bit, that kind of person to excel it from this level up, right? You can't just do it based off of talent, because they'll find a reason not to take you if it's just about talent. It's got to be, you got to be a certain kind of person. You got to do things the right way, work your tail off, all that different stuff.
So his work ethic, you mentioned, is second to none, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just works out, works hard, does extra, he's impressive.
So there's a post here that actually goes with that video. Our buddy ZB, who he runs Cut Call. This guy has probably watched more college film than most college coaches. Like, this guy's insane. Like, he literally pulls benders and watches all 22 footage like I've never seen before. But so he put this post up right here. If you aren't familiar with his uniquely dominant receiver running away on mesh pattern against Minnesota, that's the play we just watched. His passing offense share at Culver Stockton was absurd, nearly 60% in 2024, 47% in 2025. And he puts, this is a little hyperbolic, small school reference, Randy Moss, right? Now, 51%. I don't think he was saying he's Randy Moss, but he's saying like his snap share, his reception share was half the offense. Tell me all the different ways you can use this kid, because in New England, we have some interesting, obviously there's the whole AJ Brown concept, which, it sounds like it's a done deal, but who knows? You got Romeo Dobbs, who can kind of play both positions inside and out, all 3 positions. And so can AJ Brown, really. So where do you see this? Where do you see Kyle fitting in? Where do you see his strengths, and where do you think he can play?
Obviously, the first thing he's going to have to do is he's going to have to excel on special teams. That's how a guy from our level gets up to that level and does things, and his toughness and his aggressiveness. He used to beg us every week, hey, let me get on kickoff. Hey, let me get on kickoff return. I'm like, no, dude, go over there and stand and watch. But, but as far as offense goes, we had to use them a bunch of different ways, right? Because if you just line them up outside, then they double team them or triple team them. And he wasn't getting the ball all day. So we had to short motion him, long motion him, line him up in the slot, put him out of the backfield. We used him a ton of different ways because else it was going to be really, really hard to get him the ball. And his overall usage, I guess, if you look at them two numbers, went down a little bit this year, but he was actually far more productive because our quarterback was really good at not forcing the ball to him. Sometimes at an anger, it's like, dude, it's 4th and 7. Throw the ball to Kyle. You know what I mean? But he did a great job of throwing the ball to the right kid and stuff like that. But I think he can play outside for sure. I think that he could be a mismatch guy where they can put him in and they're not in 11 or 12 personnel, but he can go in the box and block linebackers and try to kick out DNs and different things like that at his size and with his strength. And so I think he's kind of a fun piece to play with because he can do a little bit of everything, you know. And I keep on messing with the scouts. At his pro day at Mizzou, it says he ran a 4.5, but I was behind all them scouts, and one had a 4.6, one had a 4.8, one had a 4.47, and you're like 4.46, 4.47, 4.48, and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, no, that's what the clocks say. That's what he ran. You know what I mean? So he can run too. It's not like he's just a big kid that can't go. He can catch a ball. He can accelerate. And he's not scared to finish a run. You know, he's not going to put his body on the line just for nothing. But once in a while, he don't mind reminding people that I'm a big boy too. And so I'm gonna run through you a little bit.
I saw him.
He looks like a big X. He looks like a big X to me, like a 1 receiver, the boundary receiver. But based on what you're saying, his skill set, he could probably move inside and do some stuff inside and do some routes inside. Maybe help with the blocking inside as well.
Yeah, and I think
how easy is a blocker? That's a great point. I wanted to ask that, Tom. How easy is a blocker?
He's unbelievable because obviously, I mean, again, he's 6'3", 220 pounds. He's strong as a bull, and so, you know, he's not scared. You know, and he's willing to go out and block and do that dirty stuff. We asked him this year, especially a little bit more, to come in and block backers and block DNs. And obviously the backers and the DNs at your level are a little bit different, but he was uber willing to do that. And I don't think that'll be an issue with him being willing at the next level either, you know, because he knows he's got to work his tail off and prove his worth every single day.
Yeah, you mentioned it before. I think, you know, there's two ways to make this football team and actually get snaps. It's obviously special teams. I mean, Mike Vrabel himself, he used to, just like you said, he would beg Belichick to play any single snap he could. He was a complete rat on the field before practice and after, and getting after it as much as he can because he just was bored. He needed to move. I don't know if it was ADHD or what, but that's one of the ways, right? That's one of the ways in special teams. But the other way on this team is, guess what? You light people up in blocks and you spring big blocks, and guess what? You're going to get snapped. So that's huge. I think that's a big part of his game. I did see a picture of him from behind with his shirt off, and when I tell you that guy looks like an Adonis, like they said, someone said a Greek god or something. I'm like, yeah, this guy's definitely like he's built for it. He's built for that, like. You know, like Paper Waves here said, could be a Matt Collins replacement, right? Matt Collins is a little bigger. He's 6'4", probably has roughly the same weight. But yeah, I could see that. I could see him playing Z on the backside, you know, blocking for Trevion downfield. So yeah, it's interesting. I love, you know, these young talents when you have these, you know, older aging veterans. You know, Matt Collins isn't that old, but he's on the wrong side of 20s. And so, yeah, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
One question from Michael Rodnick. So Michael shared a few of Kyle's highlights, and I think you actually even shared some of Michael. He was supposed to be on the show tonight. I was trying to get him on, but he had something in the family come up. But he said, what is one thing Patriots fans have to look forward to with Kyle Dixon?
Again, you know, he's a big personality. He's always smiling. He's always, you know, he wants to be one of the guys. You know, he never ever like seeked the limelight, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And so he just wants to be one of the guys. He wants to work his tail off. He wants to prove that he likes people. He's one of those guys that they like that everybody knows that they're good, but they don't need to like push that on to anybody, you know? And as a football coach, that's a fun guy to have around because he changes the culture of a room and an offense and sometimes a team, you know? And so He's just so unselfish, so willing to do whatever he needs to do to produce and to help his team that it's impressive.
That's what you're looking for right there. An unselfish alpha, an alpha that cares for his team, that wants his team to do better. He cares more about his team doing better than his own personal accolades. So that's the type of alpha that you're looking for. So I can understand why the Patriots are so high on him. And you got a lot of work. He got a bunch of work in this past.
For sure.
Yeah, this past weekend, he was a leading receiver. I know it's in shorts and shells and whatnot, and they're just doing routes and whatnot. But he always seemed to be the guy that got open. So has he developed throughout his career, nuanced routes and what to do at the point of attack and what to do when it comes to the route stem and stuff? Does he have a diverse route tree, or what are the type of routes that he's most comfortable in running?
Yeah, obviously when he first got here, I always said he's kind of like a baby deer, right? He hadn't played football for a few years, so it took him about a week and a half to 2 weeks to kind of get his football legs under him. But yeah, we ask him to run everything. I mean, we're gonna ask him to run vertical. We got a bunch of choice routes in our offense where the guy can choose to go vertical, run a slant, run a post, run an out, run a dig. You know what I mean? Depending on the look of the defense and stuff like that. So he's really good at that. So we ask him to run those type of routes all the time. The under crosses where he motions in, gets under the linebacker, over the second backer to the opposite hash, and go up and make tough catches. Knowing he's going to get hit and stuff like that. But I mean,
no fear going over the middle with this guy, huh?
No, and there are some highlights, hopefully, and maybe I need to post a few more, but highlights of him just going up and catching the ball and getting whacked. Now, again, he's a big kid, so he's getting whacked and staying on his feet and then running a little bit. Or when he does get whacked, he's not dropping it. He's not laying on the ground and rolling around, and he's hopping back up and being excited that he made a play and to get the ball rolling again. So I think he can kind of do everything. Obviously, it's a huge step forward. Luckily, he got a chance to play at the Hula Bowl, and kind of step up competition to go against a bunch of Division I guys and kind of see the difference in that. And, at our level, when we say, hey, it's a 7-yard post, well, Kyle, if you're on a 6-yard post, you're probably still going to be all right. The thing I think that helped him a ton at the Hula Bowl was when they said you had to run this glance route at 7 yards, it had to be at 7 yards. It couldn't be at 5 and it couldn't be at 10, and just him learning that stuff and getting developed that way. We're not Ohio State. We don't have 30 coaches that, the Ohio State Buckeyes have 5 receiver coaches. We have one that played for me here, and he played running back when he played here. And so good young coach, works his tail off, tries to get better at his craft every day, but obviously he's a young coach. And so, the more he gets coached by them guys and the more he learns what they want, he wants to please his coaches, but he's not a robot, so he's going to do what he's told, but he's not going to just be silly and go, well, there's 5 guys standing right there. Well, you told me to run a 10-yard dig, coach. Well, yeah, I understand. I told you to run a 10-yard dig, but I didn't think there was going to be 4 dudes standing there. Right. Understand that. And he does. He's really good at that, really good at understanding offenses, loves to study plays, loves to get better at that stuff. And so I think he'll be really good at that stuff. And I know that their receiver coach and their offensive coordinator, the receiver coach is a guy who's kind of on a traditional path, a little bit like Kyle, and their offensive coordinator, who's obviously a genius. He's had success everywhere he's ever called plays. And so I think they're going to have fun being able to figure out different things to do with him.
Absolutely. So in college, he could run that 6-yard route because he's so big, he's going to get the 7th yard on his own.
Yes.
So when he got to the Senior Bowl or whatever he was participating in, they were like, no, you need to do it at 7 yards now.
Yeah, John Gruden was his coach, and
oh man, okay.
So it was a pretty cool thing. But John Gruden be yelling at him, he's like, "You just got me fired. Can't figure out how to get to 7." And so it was a good thing, just for him to be out there, to be coached by those guys, to again, gain an understanding on how they're going to coach them, what they're going to coach them, how different, how perfect you got to be with the different things that you are asked to do, was a good thing for him, because I don't think the ability of the other guys was a huge issue for him. It was just him kind of learning those things. And I think that really, really helped him walking into rookie mini camp and being able to be ready for that.
No offense, Tom, but John Gruden is definitely my most famous follow. He actually follows me. He follows 5,000 people, and I'm one of them. I'll take that to the bank.
There you go. Actually, we actually sent him a box earlier in the year before all this stuff happened, and he opened up our box on his thing. So that was we were pretty pumped. My wife keeps on making fun of me because I still talk about it, but
I love him.
So yeah, he's a good dude.
God love him. He's a guy. I always said, like, if he was ever a Patriots coach, oh my head would explode, because I've just always been a huge fan of his. But we got Vrabel, so I'm happy with that too.
Yeah, I'm about to say you guys are doing all right.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
Without the off-field stuff.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that to the side. That's for the tabloid. That's for TMZ to talk about,
sure.
Which is pretty shameless. But so Tom, who's your NFL comp for Kyle Dixon? It's kind of a weird question, but
I don't know that. I'm not. I'm a fan of the NFL, a huge Patriots fan now, obviously, but a Bears fan growing up. But if somebody newer that's playing today, I mean, I think that he kind of is a little bit Rome Odunze-ish. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That big body guy that can go up over the middle and catch balls. He's they always say that about, but he's sneaky fast. You're not ready for a guy that big to be able to go and run with you or past you a little bit. And so, and it's kind of, I think Rome Odunze has a little bit of that in him too. But I mean, current day, I think that type of player, big body over the middle, willing to go up in the end zone, can climb the ladder in the back and try to go up and make a play on a ball. And so that's his modern day comp, I would say. Not Randy Moss. Randy Moss is my favorite receiver all time. I don't know if he's there yet, but
I got to sign Randy Moss shades. But literally, when he came to the Patriots, I was like a kid in a candy store. He's literally my favorite he was my favorite non-Patriot player of all time. And then he joined Tom Brady, and I'm like, my head almost exploded.
Yeah.
It's a lofty comparison, my friend.
For sure.
I don't know if he's there, but but yeah, I mean, he's definitely a guy that can make some different things happen.
I don't know. I see a little bit of A.J. Brown in him, to be quite honest. They have the same exact measurables, 6'2", 220. They use their bodies to body people out.
Yep.
They're very nuanced runners, and they're also incredibly willing blockers as well. So I don't think I'm going too far. I mean, I might be going too far, but I don't think I'm like that far out of bounds saying just because of the size profile and the skill set. It seems to be like, if his trajectory was like up here and he continued to evolve, then I could see him being that type of player. And that's a player that we're looking to see if we can get, on our team right now. So if we get like a baby A.J. Brown, I'll take that one too.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown light.
I wouldn't mind that either. He can be A.J. Brown, make that money. I told him, I said, hey, listen, the more money you make, the more I can ask in donations. So
that's right. That's right. It's all about that money now in college. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
Well, we don't do the NIL stuff, but, just stuff.
Oh, you guys don't do NIL?
No.
Oh, more power to you. That must be a huge weight off your shoulders, man.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing because you don't got to worry about that. You're not freaking out about that. And, you're just looking for guys that love football and want to hang out with their buddies and want to go to school and want to play football. Them guys are the guys that thrive for us.
Yeah, every other coach that we talk to that's involved in NIL just lament the fact that they have to deal with it. No coach likes it at all. And I wish the system would be changed, but at least you don't have to deal with that. So more power to you.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of friends at the big level that had to deal with that stuff all the time. And I talk to them and they're talking about it. I'm like, dude, that's
sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun at all.
So yeah, and Kyle, looking at that clip, and I've seen other clips, he wins in a lot of ways, but the one that is very interesting to me because he wins deep. he wins short and then takes it, for yard. And that one clip, obviously, there's like 4 or 5 guys that have better angles than him, and he just flat out beats them in a foot race. So I love his profile all over the field. I would love to see contested catches. I'd love to see more of those. I do think he has that frame for it, right? He's got
and he makes a lot of those. And obviously, you don't have the video, but I mean, he's made catches around dudes and over the top and in the end zone, with the guy hanging on him, falling out of bounds and different things like that.
He mosses people.
Yeah, he goes. Yes, he mosses people quite a bit.
I love it.
So maybe the comparison isn't that far out of bounds.
Maybe it's not. We'll see. We don't want to cut him short. So T. Kyles from CLNS actually had a little bit of a post on him. I'll show the post real quick, but then I'll play the video. But he came away first day very impressed with him. Let's just see what he has to say real quick.
Is Kyle Dixon. Now, early on, he was a bit inconsistent. I thought he had a drop when they were doing some of their individual positional drills, but once team drill started, the guy was automatic. He got 4 passes. One, as I mentioned early on, Baron Morton had a really high throw on a short pass, but Kyle Dixon went up and got it. There was another throw downfield where he had made a sliding adjustment to make the catch and was just reliable anytime the ball went his way. I think he was one of the few guys who caught 3 or more passes today, so very impressive day from Kyle Dixon, and that's what you're hoping for in this kind of setting. You pay a guy that much money, you're hoping he looks like the best player on the field, and I thought he did that today.
Yeah, it's when I looked at his movement in general,
those
and
are
his
good reps. That kid can move, man.
It seems like he's got a very good economy of movement. It seems like he doesn't have a lot of wasted steps. He doesn't. He runs at a lower center of gravity, even though he's 6'2". He doesn't like run high. And he doesn't have a lot of wasted steps. And I like in a lot of his release package in the beginning, he gets to either the outside or the inside of the defender very easily. It almost seems like it's like, I don't know what you can tell us about his release package, but again, both those things to me look like he has what it takes at the NFL level. Obviously, he's going to have to learn the playbook and, do all the things that make the game slow down a little bit. But at least from the, just from the little I've seen of his film, it just seemed like he has enough of his release package and his, the big thing with, a lot of these college players is they come out and they don't have that like economy of movement where they're just like wasted steps. And like those little steps will kill you. You'll get an NFL corner will eat you right up. So I don't know if you can speak on that, Tom, but I think to me, that's what I see when I see his routes.
Yeah, because of the way people played him here, some games they're pressing him and they kept the guy over the top, and sometimes they're pressing and bailing and or they're running cover 3 under and robbing them underneath with the safety and different things like that. So he kind of had to develop a little bit of that in order to have some success off the line, because else he wasn't going to be able to get over the next guy or under the next guy wherever he had to get. And he worked with a really good trainer, obviously in the offseason here. After the season was over and really worked on that. And that's what he is. I'm going to work to get better every day until somebody tells me I can't do this anymore. And so I when the scouts were all coming in and talking about him, I told them, well, what do you do if he was in this room or this room? And I'm like, if he was in a place like before Mike Evans left the Bucs, if he was in a place like that, I'm scared the veterans might hate him, because he's going to be like, well, what do you see here? What do you see here? What do you think here? How do you attack this? How do you attack that? And so he's going to be a guy that's not scared to go and ask the guys who have done it, how are you doing that? How can I get better at this? How can I get better at that? Bugging his coaches all the time. He's just going to be a guy that does that.
I love it. Yeah, it seems like, he seems like just the way he runs his routes and the way he plays, he seems like he's a student of the game. Almost like, and the Patriots love players like this, where they're like ex-quarterbacks, right? And they can read a defense. If you're getting all those, bracketed coverages, or you're getting all that safety help, you kind of have to be, right? If you're 50% of an offense, you have to be ready for any look they throw at you. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that speaks volumes. And then you get to, granted, you're in the NFL, but you get to the NFL and you got one guy covering you and you're the slot, and it's, probably not their best corner. This is where, like, we have a player, Efton Chisholm, he was at UDFA last year. And, this kid, he had limited time to shine in the preseason, and he even played a lot in the regular season too. But I think these guys both have great abilities on this team that's, getting younger. They have Drake May. They have, all these pieces around them to make them successful. Maybe it's A.J. Brown. They got, Romeo Dobbs. But I think you have this younger nucleus that's growing that I think could really have a huge opportunity to show their, and it's wide open. That slot position, I don't care what anybody says, is wide open. You got Pop Douglas, who he's coming. I think he's a contract year this year, right, Mike?
Yes, indeed.
Pop Douglas is in a contract year, and I don't think he's shown enough for a second contract. And then you got Kayshon Boutte, who's our primary X for the most part right now. And
we don't know if we're getting AJ Brown or not, so we still need help.
Right. And so I don't think he's going to get a second contract. He could be out the door for AJ Brown. Mm-hmm. And so then you got this slot position that's wide open, and then your Z, you got they want Kyle Williams to play it. Will Kyle Williams play that? Will he play slot? So there's just a lot of this is great because I think it just pushes this team in that direction of just big competition at that position. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and like I said, I think they'll really like him because I think they'll find that he's a really, really willing blocker. And so if he's in that 11 personnel look, and then he becomes a 12 personnel guy, like, are they going to keep a backer on the field to cover him? Are they going to put a DB on him? Are they going to, what are they going to do to match up with him? And then just hopefully, he gives the team the best option to win, and it's, for a guy like him, it's going to be fun because most of your offense is young, right? Your running back's young, your quarterback's young. You got the one receiver outside that's young. A couple of your old linemen are really young, and you just drafted 2 of them to come in and help. And so you get a group of guys like that just it's the same thing as anything, right? A bunch of young kids that love being around each other. They kind of love playing football, and that's what really matters to them, that and their family. And big things happen pretty quick. So that do a great job, finding those type of dudes.
So you mentioned like the offensive line and the depth that we have there. How about Andrew Rupcich?
Yeah.
How about that guy?
Yeah.
He's huge, by the way.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I still tell him I'll kick his ass, but
he's a specimen. He's like 6'6", 320 something or other, and he's an interior player.
Yep.
So, and we have competition at our interior players right now, especially for the backups. So I think that guy has a shot. I just like his physical stature, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, he's another one. He's a great kid. It's funny, people always say, well, coaches don't have favorites. Yes, we do. We have favorites, right? You know who my favorite guys are? Guys who show up every day, work their tails off, do what they have to get better, take care of their buddies, and don't make it about them. And that's the thing that both of those guys have in common. Roop, again, he's another one. He's at 3.86, I think is what he graduated with, GPA. Never missed a class, never missed a meeting, never was late to anything. Still holds a bunch of our weight room records. I think he did, and another guy did like 15 or 16 pull-ups at 300 and whatever pounds.
Holy God.
He's a different human, and especially for our level, to have a guy that was that big and could move the way he could. He played tackle for us.
He was a tackle with you guys?
Yeah, with us, he played left tackle. He was a 5-year starter because of COVID. A 3-time first-team All-American, the first one in NAIA history to ever do that.
Wow.
And so he's just another one, a great person from a great family. His dad was awesome. I was actually at Roop's wedding over the summer with bunch of the guys from Culver, which is really crazy because he's a guy that's been in the NFL for 5 years now, and he doesn't think he's too cool to hang out with his friends from high school and his friends from college. He's just a good human. And I talked to both of these kids, but I talked to Roop probably every other week. He's getting way too good at golf. I don't like that because now I'm going to go play him. He's going to kick my ass. But yeah,
he's one of the guys. He's one of the alumni.
Yeah, for sure. Well, both of them, I said, listen, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to try to make it out there this summer to see you guys a little bit. But if I do, I'm going golfing and I ain't paying for anything. So
there we go. I like it. They're making the big bucks, right? Yeah, I like it.
But but I'm excited for him to have a whole off season and a whole camp with the Patriots. I know that he got to him a little bit right at the beginning of the regular season last year, so he didn't have a chance to go through camp. And I think with him going through camp and being able to play center and guard, which he has some experience with, I think that hopefully he can put himself in a position to make that roster and be a productive player for you guys. He's going to be physical. He's going to work his tail off. He's a great human. It's kind of crazy having two guys from a school our size and on the same team.
I know.
Wild.
I was just going to comment on that. How random is that both of those guys?
I don't think it's random. I think there's something special going on over there, Tom. I don't think it's random at all. I think you guys got either something in the water that needs to be tested, or it's you guys, right? There's some special formula you guys got that just build good humans and good football players. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's obviously we go again. I'm biased. I did go to Culver, all that stuff, but we got great kids. That's what we got to rely on. We're a small school in a small town. We don't have the rah-rah. We don't have this. We don't have that. But we have great humans, and that's what we sell. And these guys come in and they make friends, and they care about each other, and they care about their school, and that's why they stick around. Kyle and Rup. Kyle was a little bit different situation, but Rup had multiple chances to be able to go play somewhere else, and it was more important for him to play with his buddies and do all that stuff, with him knowing as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to get my shot, and I always told my wife throughout my whole coaching career, I hope I get one guy that goes to the pros. And so to have two from my school and stuff like that, it's a really, really cool deal. It's exciting every day when you think about it. Some guys finally got to meet in person the other day, and so I was excited about that for them.
It must feel awesome just knowing that you got those guys to that level, because they're both going to latch on somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it be here or somewhere else, these guys are NFL caliber players. So they're going to get in there. So it's got to stoke your ego a little bit knowing that you.
Yeah, it don't hurt, and it don't hurt in recruiting to be able to brag about that, that we got guys to that level and pushed them. And again, the one thing I can argue with kids and just tell them straight up, hey, why did these guys make it? Because they did everything they were supposed to do the right way. They worked as hard as they could.
Seems so simple, doesn't it?
It really is. And you look at most of the successful guys in the NFL, it's the same thing, right? They just do everything right all the time. And the guys who do that usually are the most successful. The guys that do things at their own way, no matter what level it is, or no matter what in life, if you do things the right way, most of the time, if I do this part of my life right, usually this part of my life works out pretty well. And so it works that way in life. It works that way in sports. It works that way in everything, and one of the most excited people about both of them on the same team is my son. So he's 11-year-old, and he got a chance to be with Rup for 5 years and Kyle for the last 2.5. And so he's pretty pumped. He walks around school and brags about, I talked to him. I was at the draft thing. And so it's fun being able to do that with him and have him there. And so it's pretty fun.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
He said the only thing that he was mad about was them being on the same team was he didn't get to go to 2 new NFL stadiums. He was only going to go to 1. So
he'll get his chance before it's all said and done, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Tom, though, the training camp here is amazing. It's in July, and it's the fans come out in droves, man. Like Patriots are we're pretty psychotic fans up here. I know down south, college football is kind of the big thing. Up here, it's the pros. I mean, it's the Patriots, the Red Sox, the Celtics. It's really a special place for those guys to come into. The fans are absolutely insane. Like you talk about noise. And I mean, I'm sure you see at some of these colleges, it's 100,000 seats. They go to the big house. But these fans are definitely obsessive for sure. So it's a great spot. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Chicago, right? Chicago is a pro sports town. We had the Bulls and we had the Cubs and we had the Bears. the Blackhawks and that other baseball team. I don't remember their name, but it's kind of like that up there too. And so when you're a Chicago sports fan, you like the Bears and Notre Dame, and so now, like I said, we got to like the Bears, the Patriots, and Notre Dame. So
love it. Hey, we got a real one from over there. We got Eli Raritan. Mike and I mocked him to a lot of our drafts to the Patriots. His size and speed, is he Gronk? Is he not? I mean, he's roughly the same size, not the same weight. Mm-hmm. But regardless, I mean, he just looks like he's a player that can play, inside. He can play inline. He can play, in the slot. Probably go outside. I mean, Josh McDaniels has played with a few tight ends that he knows how to scheme these guys up. So I think between him and Hunter Henry, and I think even Kyle Dixon at this point, I think that the strength of this team right now is our run game. Like, I think that they've said this offseason, we're going to get Elijah Vera-Tucker. We're going to steal the running back from the Bills, and we're going to get the blocking inline tight end Julian Hill from the Dolphins. And so if Kyle Dixon's big strength is blocking, is he a better blocker than Efton Chisholm? Probably, right? This just purely size-wise, he has to be. Mm-hmm. Is he a better blocker than Pop Douglas? I mean, that is a dumb question. Absolutely dumb question. So if you have him in the slot and you have A.J. Brown as your X and you have maybe Matt Collins on a play you're going to obviously run the ball, I'm feeling pretty good about that. So, to me, this team is going to run the ball first, and then use Drake May and his legs and his ability to hit downfield when you're thinking they're going to run. So I think that opens up a lot for Kyle Dixon in this offense.
Efton Chisholm better watch out. Kyle Dixon's coming for him.
Yeah.
And he's bigger, he's more agile, and he's faster. A willing blocker. If you have a willing blocker at that size, then you have something, point blank.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and like I said, the biggest thing about him is I don't think he's ever going to think he's arrived. And so he's going to continue to work his tail off to earn what he has every day. And he comes from a great family that's kind of instilled that in him, and it carried over here. And I think it's going to do nothing but grow, and especially in their culture there.
I love it. Tom, you played some receiver at Culver, Stockton, right?
Yeah, I was a little bit thinner back in those days. My wife reminds me pretty often. So, but yeah, I wasn't Kyle Dixon though. I played really, really hard. That's how my coaches. He plays extremely hard. They didn't describe me as fast. Really good looking. They could describe me that way, but
he was like Rudy or Julian Edelman, the try hard guy.
I'm going to work my tail off because I had to, and so. It just
whatever you can do to get ahead, man.
Yep. Yeah, my wife brags to my son. She's the athlete in the family. She's in the Hall of Fame here at Culver. She's in our high school Hall of Fame. She just won a big award at work. So I just say we keep on saying it's the year of Alex right now. So, it was a good time and a good experience, and I had good coaches and great friends that I still talk to. And again, that's what we brag about here is just. You're a different person if you go to Culver and you stick around here,
What was her sport? What was your wife's sport?
She was a volleyball player, All-American, multiple-time All-Conference, outside hitter, really good.
Wow.
So she was an impressive athlete. And so
your son is going to be a Frankenstein receiver / volleyball. I mean, your son's going to be like the perfect lab created human, I guess.
I don't know if that's the case, but he loves hanging out with his buddies and playing. He plays right now. He's playing baseball, going to soccer, and goes to basketball on weekends. And so, but he works really hard and he tries really hard. He loves baseball with his buddies, and that's one of the biggest things with him. He's only 11, so. I'm not that parent that's pushing him in. He's on a travel baseball team and stuff like that. But if he wants to work, then we work. If he wants to hang out and play video games or sit down and watch a movie, that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to push him to do anything that he don't want to do. I want him to have fun with it and enjoy it. And that's what he's doing right now, having fun with his buddies.
He's there for the camaraderie.
That's right.
I love it.
It's a great team building thing for any young person, Just being a part of a team, whether you're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Having that cohesiveness of the togetherness of being a part of a team goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, learn how to overcome things, whether you're the best guy or the worst guy, what do you got to overcome to get better at those things and push yourself and all that stuff. It's just like the rest of life. There's always going to be something that don't go your way. And for the rest of your life, there's always going to be somebody that has what you or wants what you have. And so if you're the starting left fielder, you better work because somebody else wants to be that starting left fielder. And if you have a wife, somebody else wants to have your wife. If you want to get a job, somebody else wants your job. And so, we tell them that stuff all the time and push into that. And we talk about that a lot in our program is you better keep on working because there's always somebody else that wants what you have.
Absolutely. I always told my son, you can do literally anything you want in this world, but you have to work your ass off to get it because nobody's handing you shit. Nope. Nobody's handing you anything. So if you want it, you got to go out and get it. And
I'm bad about the baby and stuff. And hey, listen, no matter how right or left the world goes, whatever side of that stuff you're on, which I paid no attention to because it has no difference in whether the quarterback throws to the right guy or not. But no matter how far right or left the world goes, there's still a certain expectation of what a man is and what responsibilities he has and how he conducts himself. And you can say all this and all that, all you want, but there's still a certain expectation of what you do and how you conduct yourself. And for the rest of the time of human history, that's going to be true. And so, we talk about that with our guys and that with him a ton. He gets a lot of the same talks the team gets because he's here all the time. So
he gets the coach dad speak and then he gets the coach speak.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because I coach my son and it's competitive soccer, which I never played. I played basketball and football all the way up. I played a small D3 school at Nichols College.
Okay.
And I played receiver as well. And my wife says the same thing. Like, you're more of like a defensive end now or anyways. But no, I try to teach my son that, two things. Like, one is coachable. I said, do you know what the word coachable means? Because that's like one of the most important things. And the other thing to me is being a victim. I said, don't you ever come to me being a victim of anything. That's your mentality. Do not. Yeah. I don't accept the victim mentality. No. Like you are never a victim. If you don't like your circumstance, change it. Do something to change it.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Well, Tom, in closing, I guess, what is like the biggest thing you can tell us about Kyle? What is like the number one trait, like the most important thing about Kyle that we're getting, and why is he going to be a successful Patriot?
I mean, again, the biggest, again, he's never going to be out for himself for his own glory. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to help his teammates, to help his friends, to help his fiance, to help whoever it might be. He's going to be there for other people, knowing that he can control the things that he can control, and he's going to work hard to help everybody else. And so he'll be a fun player to watch because he's going to work his tail off. He's going to make some plays that you go, oh my goodness gracious, people shouldn't be able to do that stuff with their body. And it's just going to be a fun watch, I think, for you guys.
Absolutely. I agree.
I love it. I'm really excited.
I can't wait. I can't wait for training camp. I can't wait to hear the reports from mini camp and see who he's friggin' beating people out of a job.
Well, yeah. We talk about it a lot, and I talked about it with Rup during his time and Kyle. Like, guys, they can be your friends, but you're still trying to take their job. You don't get to go there and go through the motions. You got to go hard every time and every play, and because you're fighting for something. And so, I talk about it, and they probably get mad at me a lot. He's like, we know, Sallay, leave me alone. But I'm still going to yell at them, even though
you're their coach. You have to do that. You have to beat it into their friggin' brains, in order for them to get that whole thing, that picture.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Tom, I cannot thank you enough. A ham and egger show like us, getting you on is a massive get. We really appreciate everything you do as a football coach, but then also to support your guys. Like I fully take my hat off to you. I'll actually take my hat off. We're all bald here anyway, so we'll show. But no, I honestly, man, like huge shout out to you, and huge shout out to these guys for putting the work in and making this team at this point. Hopefully, we're going to be rooting for them all camp. I might make a Kyle Dixon sign at training camp.
There you go.
Just to
Don't
get
forget about Rup.
And Rup, yeah, both. Yeah, we'll get them both. I'll print something special out for those
I'll
guys.
do Rup and you can do Dixon.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I like
go.
it. I like
We'll
it.
get them both up.
Awesome, man. Well,
I
thank
like
you.
Rup, man. The kid's huge. I think he
He's
can
a
make
beast.
an impact.
We can't
Yep.
sleep on him. We talked about it before you came on Wenu, right? I don't think we're signing him. I don't think he's going to get a contract. He's going to demand a ton of money.
Depth.
We need it, and we need the depth. Like Ben Brown's not cutting it, and he said he plays center. I didn't even know that. Which we have Jared Wilson, and we just traded Bradbury to the Bears.
Yep.
And so we don't really have depth at center either. So to me, it's like it's a win-win-win.
Yeah, hopefully with him being able to be a swing guy, he puts himself in a position to be active and get in there and make some plays and stuff.
I like it.
We shall see.
All right, boys. Well, just another successful episode. We're getting closer and closer to the schedule release next week, and then it's going to be a little bit of a dead zone, but we're going to keep talking Patriots, guys. You know us. Me and Mike have no off season. We could care less about the Celtics, the Red Sox. We don't really do other sports. It's football year round. It's Patriots year round, and that's how we roll.
Indeed.
So thank you all for joining in. Give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, all those fun things. They're free, by the way. Last I checked, you don't have to pay to click like or subscribe. But yeah, give us a like, a follow everywhere you can at LFG Pat Spot, at Joe, at Mike, LFG Pat Spot. And as always, let's fucking go.